Under the fluorescent lights of a California laboratory, volunteers sat in quiet interview rooms, unaware they were about to question the very architecture of their minds. There were no hypnotists, no needles, no electric shocks, just a calm researcher, a clipboard, and a conversation scripted with surgical precision. It began innocently enough, with questions about childhood, school, and early memories, until the interviewer leaned forward and said something that would alter reality itself. Your parents told us about that incident in the mall when you were younger. Do you remember getting lost after trying to take something from a woman's purse? The volunteers hesitated, confused. They tried to correct the record. They had no memory of stealing anything, certainly not as children. But the researchers didn't argue. They smiled gently, nodding, hinting the memory was simply buried, waiting to come back. And then, something extraordinary happened. Within days, fragments emerged. A purse strap, a security guard, a crying child. It didn't matter, these details were manufactured, they now lived inside the subject's mind, indistinguishable from truth. A week later, the story grew teeth. The same volunteers who once insisted they would never steal now remembered police being called, parents furious, store alarms sounding in the distance. They remembered doing it, even though it never happened. By the third interview, nearly 3 out of 4 participants recalled the entire invented scene clearly, emotionally, vividly, more than real events from their actual childhood. The memory was implanted, rooted like a splinter under skin, and then the researchers escalated. In a new round of experiments, the accusation wasn't petty, it was criminal. A teenage fight that never happened, a window smashed, a police officer arriving at the door. A boyfriend attacked, a felony that only lived inside a scientist's notes. Yet one by one, participants broke down under the weight of a crime they never committed. Their faces went pale as they described interrogations that never happened. Their voices trembled as they recalled apologies they never gave. And with each retelling, the invented event grew clearer than truth. Facts blurred into feelings, feelings blurred into confession, and soon, the mind itself could no longer tell the difference. By the end of the study, the scientists didn't need proof. The brain supplied it willingly: details, emotions, consequences, guilt. A false memory became a lived experience, stored deep in the neural network of identity, woven into personal history forever. In the hallways after sessions, some participants quietly wondered whether the experiment had uncovered something dark inside them, something they had forgotten on purpose. One woman later described lying awake at night replaying a moment that never existed, asking herself how she could have been the kind of person who did something like that. The researchers were careful to debrief, to untangle the invented crimes before releasing participants back into their ordinary lives. But memory is not a tape you can rewind. The scar of remembering something that never happened lingers in a place language cannot easily reach. Years later, subjects admitted they still sometimes question whether the event might have happened after all, in some hidden corner of their childhood they simply never talked about. Behind closed doors, the implications spread far beyond the sterile walls of a research lab. Courtrooms, interrogations, witness testimony. How many convictions rely on memory? How many confessions were shaped by suggestion rather than fact? In the fluorescent rooms of Loftus's studies, the experiment didn't just implant memories, it challenged the foundation of truth itself. Because if a mind can be convinced it committed a crime that never happened, then the distance between innocence and guilt is far more fragile than anyone imagined. And in the quiet hours of the night, after the recording stopped and the lights dimmed, one chilling conclusion remained. The human brain does not just store memories, it creates them. And once it does, even science cannot easily take them back.